eyes on you. It's a long, long time. I know you watching too. It's a long, long time. I got you in my heart, and all this time I've been wishing for a start. Our spirits connecting, no fight feeling. Baby, no, not this time. Two spinkles flying, useless pretending. Oh no, not this time. I want it all the time.
WEFM, the fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, and if you need some kind of motivation today, yes, remind yourself that you are a big deal. All right, as the song says. Well, the song over the instrumental, but y'all know what I mean. All right, remind yourself that you are a big deal. I know it's rough for some people to get up and get going on a Monday morning, right? So all the motivation that you could get, or I could give, I'm going to give it to you guys this morning. All right.
While encouraging yourself.
While encouraging myself. All right. No, I just trying to keep my eyes open. And that's all I try to do this morning. Keep them open. All right. So normally at this time, we're supposed to have commentary from Kingsley DeFreitas, but we haven't seen him call as yet. So that more than likely means that we are on our own again. As strong, independent women, we got to do it by ourselves because both men abandoned us this morning, all right? Y'all see what has happened? This is why women has had to be there where they are sometimes, you know, because you expect any men.
3.
Oh, that's why you need to have 3 men? Oh, Lord. I'd rather send them on 2 feet rather than have 3 men any day. And not the eye, says Roleza, not at the eye, all right? All right, so to get into a topic this morning, I'm not sure how many persons are aware of a quote unquote survey or some surveys. And if you're looking at the live, I'm putting them in inverted commas, in air quotes, regarding some surveys regarding political candidates who are vying for the same constituencies. All right. All right. So I see Joshua calling there. All right, let's take Joshua. Hi, Joshua. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. This is one man that is not going to abandon you.
Oh, we can count on you, Joshua.
Yes, you can come to me. I'm a fornicator. I'm also a womanicator.
Morning, Yolande. While we trying to borrow your husband just for the 4 hours. Good morning, Yolande.
She's mounted. You could have him.
How are you this morning, Joshua? Besides being troublesome, how else are you?
I am on top of the world. I keep saying that all the time. I'm on top of the world.
Oh.
You know, they claim that the wall is round.
Mm.
That's what I say. Now, if you don't stay on top, if you fall off, you're going to get run over. You're going to get crushed.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of paying forward. As we said here Saturday, sorry. My wife and I, we like lovers, you know. Well, I think we're lovers. We eat out a lot. We both could cook, you know. Both of us are excellent cooks.
Mm-hmm.
And as we were dining, I noticed there was a friend of ours. So I walked over to her and I said, "Hi, how you doing?" I said, "We've got your bill." She said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." She insisted. I said, "No, it's all right. We've got your bill. As a matter of fact, I don't care. My wife is paying. She's the one with the money." She looks at me and she said, "Well, I got a surprise for you. You know, when you walked in, I already whispered to the cashier that I have your bill." I said, "But it's 2 of us." He said, "It doesn't matter."
Mm.
And you see, this is what these are the type of friends that we have, my wife and I. And it's called paying forward.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a close to what she ordered. She didn't have a close to what we earned because I am on a seafood diet. You know, I see food and I want to eat food.
Mm-hmm.
So if I come to St. Vincent and you see me in a restaurant, do not offer to pay my bill because you don't know what it's going to be. But I just share this, to show that, this is paying forward. When you do it, you give somebody a dime today, somebody give you 50 cents.
Yep.
We would like to pay forward a phone to one of your favorite callers because you seem to be the only one who has a problem with the telephone.
Well, maybe that's
And
your
I'm
act of
saying-
kindness today, Joshua. Send it down.
Well, no, I can't. I'm not going to give you if you don't want brat. Do you know what brat is?
My brat is extra. So send 2 phones.
Yeah. If you don't want brat, I'm not going to give it to you because I might take it and throw it under the table for the dog or the cat to eat. So have a great day. What's my favorite friend who I call her name every day? By slipping my now.
Anita?
Oh man. Anita, you see what I mean?
Ooh, boy.
Anita, he's forgetting your name.
And please don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. When I got married to you, the most wonderful woman on the face of the earth, I forgot her name at the altar. I could not remember the woman's name for Adam. So don't feel bad, Anita.
All right, Joshua. Have a good one.
Cool.
Okay, bye-bye. Thanks. And as Joshua was there saying with that paying the bill, one of the little things that people tend to do sometimes, so Massey in particular, because it happens at Massey sometimes where, somebody's in the line, they forgot their, the card, and they would tell the person behind them to put the points on the next person's card. So it's these little things, I mean, yes, the points might add up to a whole lot, but, still at the end, if, these little things, they all add up. So it's, it's just real little things that could, make somebody's day just a little better.
If you see a friend in a van, you could just offer to pay for them, pay for both of you.
Yeah. Buy lunch for a coworker. Hint, hint. Rajiv! All right. So let's get into this story. All right. So I'm not sure how many of you saw recently that there were at least the results of 4 quote unquote polls that were announced and they were published on Asbury's News Network. All right. So there were quote unquote polls done with regards to the South Leeward seat, the South Central Windward seat, the East St. George seat, and the North Windward seats. All right. Now I am saying polls, and I'm putting them in inverted commas because only the sample size for the North Windward seat was given, which was 417. All right. But I found it interesting. And the question that I'm asking is that the initial information that's presented in these polls, could they possibly be an indication of what the election results might be? All right. So let's take it one by one with South Leeward. So the polls are conducted by, let me get the proper name of the person. So it's by Jason Alexander. He's a political correspondent for the Sentinel Research Group. So taking it first with South Leeward, it is being stated that the winner there will be Nigel Stevenson, all right? And one of the things that I found interesting is that that piece or the quote-unquote findings focused a lot on what were the perceived shortcomings of the candidate for the ULP side, Grenville Williams, all right? And it's mentioned that he would be the clear winner. And all right, let's take the call. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
In 2010. Good morning, Lady Empress Dianna. Nice to see your face in the place. I'm very, very happy to see you here Monday morning.
Queens.
Yeah.
You expecting something else? Queens, why you so?
Let me move on.
Exactly.
Let me move on.
All right, go ahead. But you truck Sean bad.
Your friend Sister Ryan did a poll in 2010 saying that NDP will be losing in the 3 Kingston seats. And that turned out to be so wrong, because those are 3 of the 3 strongest seats on the mainland that the NDP have from since 2010. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anytime we'll tell. In a 2 months' time, we'll know.
Sure.
Have a good one.
All right. Have a good one, Queens. All right. So it focused a lot on the shortcomings of the ULP's candidate, Grenville Williams, and stating that Stevenson would win or is the clear winner. And it's a clear winner. But I did not see anything stating in terms of, what actually on the ground has been the reason for declaring Stevenson the winner, right? In terms of his history, etc., nothing there. All right. Now, interestingly, for South Central Wynwood, there is actually no clear winner. They're saying that both persons, which is Saboto Caesar and Israel Bruce, that they both have clear ties to the community. So, and they're strong within their community. So, from that quote unquote poll, and I'm going to be saying quote unquote throughout, is that there isn't any clear winner. Another thing that is noted in the Eastern George seat, that it's being predicted that Camilo would win. Now, please note that on the last occasion, that Laverne Velox, who is the opposing candidate, she lost by a mere 196 votes. But it is being stated, or it is being said, that Camilo is going to be the visible winner in this case because of the projects, etc., that have been done within the recent years. All right. I also noted from the particular poll, that a lot of some of the reasons given why Ms. Velox is not going to win has more to do with personality-based reasons as opposed to anything else, because they did actually state that she is a lot more visible within the community or this constituency now. All right. Now for North Wynwood, as I mentioned before, this is the one that they actually mentioned the sample size, which was 417, and it is being stated that Siobhan John is going to be in the lead, or she is in the lead. I noticed something interesting there, though, where colorism came into play, and but the colorism came into play in favor of Grace Walters, which kind of was interesting to me because I don't know if sometimes I'm in a bubble, but does colorism necessarily play a key role in our elections in terms of how people vote? No, maybe it's because I see people for people and not the color of their skin, especially because all of us, at the end of the day, most of us are black. Whether you are light-skinned or dark-skinned, all of us are black. So I found that was interesting that came up in that one. And one of the points on the rate was that with regards to the legacy left by Montgomery Daniel, it's being stated that there wasn't much of a legacy left for the past 25 years. All right. Now, as I said, so Dianna, you're coming just now. So as I said, I do have to question what the sample size is because I noticed some percentages being given. And for me, you could interview 10 persons and you could have significant, out of the 10 persons, you can form a percentage based on 10 persons. But for many of them, I am questioning the sample size. I am questioning what exactly was some of the questions that were being asked and how it is that persons may have interpreted some of the questions being asked. What it is that I would say, though, for all persons involved thus far, because I'm sure that we are going to see other quote-unquote surveys and the results of other quote-unquote surveys coming out, is that maybe for some of the candidates, what they can do is not necessarily accept as wholesale in terms of saying that I have already lost or I have already won, because at the end of the day, nobody is going to know who is the winner until elections day. Everybody starts at zero. So you can't be too overconfident at this point. You can't fall back and think that because your party is in the lead, or you think that your party is in the lead, or whatever it is that you might claim for your party, candidates can't fall back on that. But what it is, I would say, though, for some of the shortcomings that have been identified for some of the candidates, maybe it is an opportunity for them when they are doing interviews or when they are at particular podiums to address some of the shortcomings that some persons have seen. Because what it is that I tend to feel from this particular survey, even if it might just be the opinion of a few persons, is that this may actually really talk that's happening on the ground, right? And they're putting it in a survey format to present the information, right? But I do feel as if there might be some merit in some of the things that are being said. And if a candidate is not in agreement with whatever it is being said, that they can use the opportunity to counteract those points or address or clarify certain points when it is that they do interviews or they're speaking at particular forums in a particular capacity. So, I don't necessarily think that it is going to totally hurt, but I also don't totally accept it either. All right. Okay. So, All right. Good morning, Dave. Because I know you're going to take Dave like 15 seconds. Dave? Dave Roberts?
Hello.
Good morning, Dave. Go ahead. You're live.
Greeting, come
All right. Dave, we will send you a private message. Morning, Kojo.
Good morning, Alicia. You have to be living under the ground for not to know that colorism play a role in our election. Even in America, a lot of people vote for Kamala Harris. A lot of people vote for Kamala Harris because she's a black woman.
Well, in America, I could understand because, that whole racial divide, etc. But for us down here, it's like,
I honestly never thought that it had a role in elections in particular.
Children's not coloration all the time.
I know we have it, but for the elections, I don't know.
So if we have it, it must play a role too in elections. Have to.
I don't know. I suppose for me, it's interesting to know that the color of somebody's skin is going to influence who they vote for. When all of us black, what majority of us black?
People look at class system to vote for somebody. It all depends on where they come from. It ain't just one thing, A man will vote. If you're running against Kojo Mason and he's popular, and you ain't popular, people know me more, right? They might say, "Oh, me no Kojo man, me could vote for him."
Right, I could understand popularity. But not popularity based on the color of your skin.
It walk across the board, Alicia. It walk across the board. Everything come into play. Some people don't even know who they're voting for. Why you think the party are color?
No, right. No, so identifying the color is different. It's different, but the color of somebody's skin is. I don't see it the same.
Ask some people who voting for NDP and ULP. They can tell you, "Oh, I like the color." They don't really. Do you like so much people in the world We ain't talking about citizens in the world that just vote because somebody else say, "Oh, me like that person," and they don't even know they don't know what they're voting for. A lot of people do that. A lot of people vote for certain things that you might be surprised what some people vote for.
All right, I hear you. And somebody else, I need live in you're right.
All right. Okay.
Oh gosh, people, we need to do better.
All right, talk to you later.
Later, Kojo. No, listen, people, we need to do better. You can't come and tell me that you're voting for a party just based on liking the color red. It has to be more than that.
I can't wrap my head around that.
Right? You can't come and tell me that you're voting for one candidate over the other because they clear skin. It has to be more than that. Right? So I suppose maybe it is when it comes down to these kind of reasonings why it baffles me, because I probably expect more and I'm probably expecting too much, right? But it can't be that simple for me. It really truly can't come down to that for me. Any thoughts, Dianna?
I just had some of the same thoughts as you. When it comes to the negative things that I said about politicians, I think at this point you have about less than a year, and I figured they could just use the remaining months to build up your public image if that's what you need to do. Like Roleza said, when you have opportunities to speak, if you want to call it clearing up or however you want to label it, then you can use the opportunity to do so. But at this point, whatever you have not been doing, if the community say they don't feel you like they should, then you have a couple months to work on that. As it relates to the color thing, just like you, I didn't think that persons were voting here based on people's color and all of these things. That's crazy. That's so crazy to me. But when you consider these kinds of, that there are people who think like this, then you could understand certain things that we are confused over when it comes to voting. You could understand that, because if that's how you're thinking to vote, then wow.
Yeah, and are we voting based on merit or what we think is perceived potential? Like, Listen.
Most persons apparently they're not looking for that. I think persons sometimes too look too much on the surface for things. And I mean, when you start to realize this, I suppose you can kind of understand why certain election conversations are the way they are and why certain people cannot have substantial debates because they don't even have any points that are of substance, because imagine me and you arguing, boy, me like red over yellow, so that why me I vote for them. What do? I have to walk away from you?
But I think that is it exactly why it is. Even somebody else there is telling me that it's a surprise for me. Listen, folks, I suppose I expect better. All right, I have a different perception of my expectations of human beings, right? And this can't be it, right? This cannot be it. All right, so somebody says that they're rather surprised. Color plays a large part in Caribbean politics. Look at the social division, especially in the smaller islands. So economic, I could probably see, but I've never really thought of color. Like, I am not going to vote for somebody else because being clear skin is perceived being better. Mm-hmm. Like, I just can't see it, especially when we all grew up. Majority of persons in SVG are Black. Mm-hmm. So how it is that I am going to look at somebody else as being quote unquote better because they're clear skin? That's ridiculous to me.
Wow.
And maybe because I did not necessarily grow up that way, or I'm hoping that then again, you know what? I hoping too much. So you know what? That I am heading out of this segment. All right. So yeah, let me take it down a notch. Time right